My name is Shalom Klein, and you're on with Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein. This show is all about small business, entrepreneurs, and jobs. And we're going to be talking a lot about small business, a lot about entrepreneurship. In this segment, Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, which is your solution center. You can find them at tandemhr.com or call 630-468-9298. You could also email them, simplify@tandemhr.com. And this show, we always talk with a lot of folks that are sort of making a difference in the small business community, folks that have had their challenges along the way, but have seen some success along the way in the process as well. And one of those businesses that I'm really excited to have with us here on the show is Lawrence Foods. And we're on with Les Lawrence. Les, thanks for joining us on the program.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Les. So my understanding is that you've been in business since about 1890, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a little while?
Our roots go back that far, indeed.
So tell our listeners what you do at Lawrence Foods. We're all about sharing the stories of small businesses.
Well, we're a food manufacturer, and we touch probably about 5 distinct markets, the way we define them: food service distributors, food service operator chains, which would be restaurant chains, retail bakery and distribution businesses that provide bakery ingredients, industrial packaged goods companies like Entenmann's and others, and in-store bakery, which is sales of bakery ingredients to supermarkets that have their own on-premise bakery operations.
And you run all of that from if I understand correctly, an Illinois-based business. Where are you located?
We're in the O'Hare area, and that is our sole manufacturing distribution point.
And there's a lot of great businesses right in our community, right in our area. And I would imagine with such an operation servicing so many bakeries and so many supermarkets, you must have a pretty sizable operation. How large is your space out in the O'Hare area?
We're probably about 200,000 square feet.
Not bad. And while you primarily focus on B2B sales, business-to-business sales, is that correct?
That is correct.
But at the same time, your clients, your customers, are the ones that are probably pretty often in the retail business. What are you seeing? What trends are you seeing in the market? Is retail still the same as it was perhaps 10, 15 years ago?
No, not by a long shot. In fact, one of the keys for our success in developing what now has become a very rapidly growing business is to understand the incredible differentiation that's occurring at the level of the consumer interface, all the different tastes and palates that have to be addressed. The real success stories in the food industry are those businesses that can basically customize for micro markets. In the Chicago area, for example, there are a number of different kinds of markets. Hispanic is a very rapidly growing segment in and of itself. And I might add, just to offer a little additional information, we've really been pleased with Tandem, too, because the growing element of our business has meant that finding people has been really extraordinary. And actually, one of the things that I'm probably most proud of with regard to the business as it's operating today is our ability to really unleash the creative potential of our employees. And having a good HR partner is certainly something that's very helpful all the way along. But we've done a fair amount of thinking with regard to what kind of culture we need internally to facilitate that kind of unleashing of creative energy on the part of our people. I think that's an interesting story in and of itself.
And we're talking with Les Lawrence of Lawrence Foods. Lawrence Foods, we've just been hearing, dating back to 1890, manufacturer of premium bakery ingredients. And Les, you're running a pretty sizable operation. You just mentioned the work that Tandem HR has been doing with you guys for the past while and sort of helping you attract and retain talent. And that's something that I think is not spoken enough about out there, even with a tough economy, as you were just sort of sharing with us, it still is tough to find good people that have that creative energy. And so tell us, I guess, sort of about some of the creative things that you've done. I know you've got, I was actually, my mouth is drooling as I looked at your website before the show. You're producing a lot of interesting ingredients, things that probably my wife wouldn't be very happy that I sneak these treats every once in a while, but you must have creative talent to stay innovative in this market. What sort of things do you do to create that environment?
Well, let me just share a perspective here going in. I think everybody pays a good deal of lip service to the fact that a company is only as good as the people that operate within it, but that is such a complicated, profoundly important concept. Let me share this perspective with you. You've got a position available, and this is kind of an informal collection of data that we've kind of managed our business against over a number of years. If you get a lot of applicants for a particular job, you'll find, I think, generally that some small number, maybe 5% or so, are always going to be superstars for you. And there are probably going to be 15 or 20% that doesn't matter how you support them or encourage them or train them, they likely are not going to work out, which leaves somewhere between 75 and 80% in the middle that we found could either be superstars or abject failures, and the difference is the culture, the dynamic that you put them in and allow them to operate within. And one of the things we talk to our leadership team about is their responsibility in creating a nurturing kind of environment that allows an employee to obtain a sense of ownership with regard to their activities within the business. You know, most people have this desire, this urge, this passion to be able to mark their stamp on something, but most people reserve those efforts to things that are hobbies. And the reason for that is a hobby is something which virtually by definition they have full ownership and control of the inputs, and so they identify with the outputs. And in effect, the challenge that we face and the thing that we think about and talk about with our management team all the time is how do you create a set of circumstances that allows an employee to feel a sense of ownership for the activities that they're involved with within the business. And when you boil it all down, there are a relatively short list of items that have to be created to allow that to happen. Very easy to explain, but very difficult to effect because it has to reflect an authentic desire on the part of the business to nurture and develop employees. That's one of the challenges that we deal with virtually every day.
That's helpful information, and I believe that rings true in probably almost any business and almost any industry. And for those professionals that are out there, I always say this: you've got to have passion. You have to own what you do. If it's just going to be a job, it's just going to be that, just a job. But I love the culture and the environment that you're trying to create to have employees at all different levels take ownership over their work. I'm sure they come in to work every day at Lawrence Foods probably much more motivated, feeling that they're making a difference, that they're not just doing their part, but in fact they're actually contributing to something much bigger than just them, and that's fantastic. So we've got just over a minute left. Les, what advice do you have for business owners that are out there that are trying to create that right environment, or perhaps for the professionals that might be listening to the show?
Well, one of the things that has been a part of our family tradition is the sense of what people are all about. It goes back to the first and second generation that I inherited the business from, started by my father in partnership with his father a lot of years ago. That to the extent that individuals within a business are the people that shape the success or failure of the business, it's important to understand that an employee within a business will tend to treat the assets of that business, and customers tend to be the most valuable, precious asset that a business has, in a way that's almost directly parallel to the manner in which they feel they're treated by the ownership of the business itself. And it's a kind of mirror type of metaphor. It's very helpful to keep in mind whenever we're dealing with policies that it's important that we emphasize and then support in meaningful ways the reality of the critical importance of the value of people within an organization.
And thanks for creating that environment over there at Lawrence Foods. We're about to cut our break. What sort of products do you make? Again, it's all those yummy, delicious fruit fillings, icings. And how can people find you on the web?
Well, we're at lawrencefoods.com, and what we do is we manufacture the ingredients that make for really high-level quality eating experiences with things like cookies and cakes and donuts and all the things that you use to make life just a little sweeter.
Once again, lawrencefoods.com. Thanks, Les, for joining us. You're on with Get Down to Business. After the break, we're talking more entrepreneurship, more jobs.